I put my one foot inside of the mud, and there was like a slight hill that was there.
Yeah.
And I tripped.
Face first into the mud.
Well, look who finally found the record button.
It's been a minute. It's been a little while since we actually sat down with you guys and recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
So welcome back to this Thing of Ours podcast.
Where we talk about all of life's highs and lows.
And everything in between.
I don't like how we switched that up.
I know, usually I'm the one who says the other part.
Yeah. I like you saying that part and I like saying my part. But yeah, it's been a hot minute. How's life going? What have you guys been up to? Tell us something good with you. We'll just do a quick catch up because, we've been gone for I think it was 2 months.
2 months. Yes, 2 months.
It felt like 2 minutes because, the time flies.
Time just flies by. And it's like, okay, we know that it's been a little bit. Obviously, it hasn't been 2 minutes. We understand that. But, time just goes by, and you don't really notice how fast it actually, how much time actually went by. It's like, we recorded, a month ago? And then we actually think about it, we're like, shoot, it's actually been 2 months.
YouTube told us 2 months. Probably going on to 3 if we don't upload this podcast today. But anyways, let's just do a quick recap of what we've been up to. Let's go back to, I think it was April, because the last podcast we uploaded, we kind of just talked about how, we got engaged. We're engaged now.
Yes.
He stuck with me for life. And then after that, we talked about what took us so long. So I think that was back in March. So in April, we kind of just went home to see family. Yep. We talked about, the engagement with them. We shared the good news with them in person. Yep. And then, we kind of just saw our niece and nephews, Maya and Noah. If you're new here, those are my niece and nephew. We talked about science. Right. I think we talked about this before on the podcast, but I never shared exactly which kit we use. So we actually use this Steam Power Kids scientific discovery for the ages of 5 and over. There's different boxes for different age groups that you can buy, but I ended up buying the 5 just because, my niece, she's actually 4, but she's turning 5 in, is it December? Yeah, it's December. It's the end of December.
Yeah. But yeah, we mentioned this before. She is a little bit advanced. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they were very conservative on that age. Because some of the science experiments, they are kind of small.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's ready for bigger ones.
Yeah, definitely the volcano one.
We'll be looking at maybe buying a bigger kit for her birthday when she actually does turn 5.
Yeah, but I went on Amazon because I was telling her that I was going to buy her a science coat. Mm-hmm. So I did end up buying the kids' science coat. I'll leave the link in the description below. It's from Amazon, like I said, but it came with a little booklet and it had different science experiments in it. So we did a natural gas experiment. And it was actually pretty interesting. We used, what did we use? Vinegar?
Vinegar and baking soda.
Yeah, that was it. Just 2 ingredients. We used a plastic water bottle and a balloon. So then when we mixed the ingredients, the balloon started to inflate. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So Maya, look. Maya, that's a quarter cup right here. 1 out of 4. No. Okay, so you're going to hold on to it?
Yes.
Can you tell me when I reach that line?
Huh?
Tell me when I reach this line right here, okay?
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay, right there?
Yes. Did I reach it?
Yes.
Ooh, good job. Maya, can you hold the bottle like this? I'll pour it, okay? Blow bubbles again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost there. Yay, you're done. Me too.
All right. So now, nope, leave it. Now you're going to do the honors. You're going to lift this up and pour all the baking soda into here. Okay? So I'll hold the bottle. Now you just flip this and hold it up.
It's not, she has it twisted.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's making a natural gas. That's actually really cool.
You did great, Maya.
But yeah, it is fun to play with them and get a little glimpse of when we'll have children of our own.
Oh, I see. But moving on, work is work. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it like that. You know, if you work a 9 to 5,
You understand the struggle.
you understand the words. Work is work.
Yeah. You know, you go, some days are good, some days are not great. Takes up a lot of your time, but you do what you got to do to pay them bills.
Yeah, like you know when someone says, "Oh, how was work today?" I never really know how to answer. I just say, "I don't know. Work was work."
Yeah. Yeah, I know. When people are like, "Oh yeah, work was good." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Was it though? Was it?"
No, some days are good.
I
Some
know,
days are
I know, I
good,
know.
But I mean,
But I always question that. Are you just saying good because that's like the go-to response? You know, just like when someone says, "How you doing?" You always say, "Yeah, I'm doing good." But are you really? Like that's what kind of goes through the back of my mind when someone says work was good. I'm like, "Was it though?" But anyway.
I don't know. To me, I just say work was work. That's my answer. That's my go-to. How was
Yeah.
work? Work was work.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it in a mean way. I just don't know how to answer, you know. So I just say work was work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my go-to response is, yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was good. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It was okay.
Yeah, I survived. I'm home now.
Survived to live another day.
Yeah. So that was basically what we've really been up to, been working and taking care of our lawn. That's
Yep.
what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, summer's here and we decided this year was the year where we got green grass. This year was the year that we watered our grass. We poured into ourselves.
Focused on our own grass.
Yes, can I get an amen?
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And we've been going to church, you guys. So, but anyway, that's a topic for a different day. That's another conversation.
But yeah, no, I don't know if we mentioned it before, but our lawn, it was hurting.
It was trash.
It was hurting real bad.
No.
Real bad. Real bad.
So we moved here in 2022. It's a newly developed area, you guys, okay? And they finally decided to put down, this is back in 2022. They put down, what is it called? Sod?
They put down the sod, but like, it was like kind of right at the end of the season. And I feel like they definitely rushed the process.
Yep, they rushed it. And then they just laid it down. It was like, all right,
So
now you take care of it.
prior to having the sod, it was just like stone and gravel and stuff, right? And like, not gonna lie, there was probably some like garbage pieces that like they used to build the house, like little like I would say like rubber piping and different things. Like that was all like kind of like buried into the gravel. And then where it came up to the driveway, it was like ramped up, right? Like the gravel like ramped up to the driveway. Now, when they came, they did lay some topsoil or some like actual soil. They did. But I feel like they didn't level anything out.
Oh,
like
no,
up
not at
towards
all.
the driveway, they just kept that gravel like ramped up and they put like this thinnest little layer of soil. And then they laid the sod over top.
Yep.
So like all the edges, they were all like completely dead. There was nothing there at all. And it's like that for everybody's lawn in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like everybody's lawn. They did not take the time to do the sod properly. But anyway, that was in 2022.
And then we tried to water it and take care of it. But which was, you know, that's what they said. They were like, yeah, water it twice a day, and then mow it after like I think it was like a month. They told us. But anyways, we did exactly what they said. Fast forward to 2023, the grass didn't take. It was terrible. You could still see the sod like where they laid it down in pieces on the side of the house.
Yeah,
Nothing
like
was leveled.
They didn't like tighten it up close to each other, so like you could see like the lines in between the sod
Yeah.
that didn't like root together properly.
We got burnt grass, crabgrass. We got weeds like you wouldn't even believe. The weeds were so tall. I swear to you, it could be a tree. It was so bad, bad on the side of the house.
Because we're on like a corner unit, right?
Yeah.
Like we live in a row unit.
And if you don't know what that is, we'll insert the pictures.
We're the end unit, but not like the corner. Like there's another property beside us. So like there's only, I would say, 8 feet, maybe 10 feet between the two units.
Yeah, the houses are pretty tight
and then
together,
there's people
like,
behind us.
Rows.
Like there's 6 units and they're like back to back with another 6 units. So we don't actually have a backyard, but we share a side with 3 other people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Hopefully that does.
Those other 3 people do not take care of theirs. We didn't take care of ours, to be honest.
We're not trying to put the blame on them.
We let ours get pretty bad.
But we let ours get bad, and then our neighbors next to us, like the guy who we share the lawn with, let it get bad too. So
like I'm not gonna say we were as bad as them because we weren't. We did try a little bit. We cut it a little bit more often. Like they had like a forest.
The thing is, let's fast forward to today. In May, that's when we started taking care of the grass. So we went out. What did we use?
So we bought a few things. We decided this was going to be the year we're going to actually take care of our lawn.
We're going to get green grass.
So another shout out to ChatGPT for helping us put together kind of a plan of action into how to take care of a lawn or bring it back to life. So first thing, we raked the lawn.
When we say we, I mean Curtis.
Yes. Yes. And I had blisters all over my hands after, but that's besides the point. You got to put in that work, feel the pain to get results.
Okay, Curtis, get to the point of what you were saying.
Yeah, so we raked the lawn, got up like as much dead grass that was like packed down, and should have probably got what they call a dethatcher, which does a way better job than just raking, but we didn't. Wanted to aerate the lawn, but we didn't. Regardless, we raked it, got up as much dead grass as we could. We laid some topsoil down.
Oh, no, that's not what we did first we raked it.
Sprayed.
Yeah, we sprayed the lawn, and I helped. That's the only part I did because I enjoyed pulling up the weeds. I find it such a good, it's a good way to relieve that stress.
Yeah.
And I was very tired after I did it. Like it was such a fun thing to do, and I really enjoyed pulling up the weeds that had that thick root that was so strong I didn't want to pull up. Ooh, baby, let me tell you.
Yeah. It's like when you do pull one up and there's no root, you're like,
I missed it. Let me try again.
But then you pull one and you get this big, huge root. You're like, oh, wow.
The roots were insane, you guys.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them were like long. Like they were really, really long. But it was so bad. Instead of using like, what was that pull weed machine thing that I was using?
I don't know.
What is that called? Anyways, I'll just put it on the screen.
It's like a long stick and it's got the little 3 prongs at the bottom.
Yeah.
You step on it and then you like kind of lean with it and it pulls the root out.
Yeah, so I was using that, but then after, the weeds on the side of the house were terrible. They were really long, so it was there. Honestly, I just went in with a shovel and I just started digging them all up like that, and I was just pulling them up by my hand because the grass didn't take, so it was very easy for the weeds to pull up on the side of the house. So that's kind of like what I was doing, and then it just had complete dirt on the side of the house.
Yeah, we basically pulled up all the sod and everything. Like it was at that point. By the time you were done with it, it was basically just soil.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought it was
done for.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to be able to bring it back. Yeah. But Curtis put down, what did you use, Scott?
Yeah, so after you pulled up all the weeds, we sprayed it with the weed killer.
We had to do
we
that
did this
twice.
2 weekends in a row. So we sprayed it the one weekend, let that sit, pulled up a few more weeds, sprayed it again. Then the following week is when we actually laid down, it was Scott's Turf Builder topsoil. So we laid that down. I think I bought about 5 bags, larger bags. I don't know how much they were, but regardless, I laid about 5 bags down, spread that out with the rake. And then we laid some seed down. The seed was Scott's brand again, but it was Scott's sun and shade mix.
Yeah.
So.
And then he used that little wheeling machine to help.
Yeah. I didn't buy like the one where you push. I just bought a little small one, handheld, and just spread it.
Yeah.
Spread all the seed around. Yeah. And then
we just watered it.
Just watered the grass.
And said a little prayer over the grass and
every night. Every night out there watering the grass.
Hoping that it will grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. I think 3 weeks in, well, we were kind of really watching the grass every day. We're like, man, the grass ain't growing. The grass ain't growing.
It's doing nothing.
The grass growing? We wasted our money. Wasted water, increasing this water bill.
Yep.
And then 3 weeks in, we kind of just took a peek on the side of the house and we're like, oh shoot, I think I see a stubble.
Honestly, it felt like it happened overnight. Like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden we wake up in the morning like, whoa. Where'd that come from?
Yeah. But that's in real life, when you keep watching something and you keep hoping for something, you're tracking it every single day and you realize that's not growing, it's not growing, it's not growing. As soon as you forget about something, it's all of a sudden it appears, And you're like, I'm just going to let it. Remember my tree? Remember my tree? Remember my plants that I told you guys about? That one plant that I didn't think it was going to grow? I don't know if you can see it right now in the corner there, but it's taller than me, you guys. Yeah. We're almost at the same height, okay?
But yeah, no, it's true. You don't see results, and that's when a lot of people quit, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm going to stop watering this grass because it's not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But no, you just stay consistent and eventually
stick to the plan.
Yeah, stick to the master plan.
Yeah,
right?
That's what my mom used to say. Yeah. Stick to the master plan.
Yeah, eventually you'll get the results, right?
Yeah.
So
speaking of results and consistency, we hit another goal in our life.
Yeah, me and Amelia are now part of the 1%ers, the 1% club.
1%. Oops.
And maybe not the 1% you're thinking of, because when I think of the 1%, I'm thinking of the ultra rich, the 1%ers.
Oh,
right? No.
Yeah, that was a very depressing. Oh,
yeah, we're not there yet. One day, but no. Apparently, if you've ever or you plan to run a marathon. So a full marathon, you would be part of a 1% club, which is less than 1% of the world population has actually ran a full marathon.
Yeah, and a full marathon is 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Et voilà! Le dernier groupe de ce 51e marathon présenté par Curtin est parti! The last wave of this 51st Curtin International Marathon here in Ottawa is underway!
How did you find the first 10 kilometers?
So the first 10 kilometers, that was easy. I felt good.
Me too.
Like it wasn't like super hot at that point because we started at like 7:30, I think it was.
Yeah. So the race actually started at 7, but that was for the elite athletes.
Yeah, we weren't part of that group.
No, we were in the back of the back, okay? We're the last group to start running. So we started around 7:30, 7:40.
Yeah, it was around there. But yeah, so within the first 10 kilometers, like it wasn't like super hot yet. The sun was starting to come out. But I felt good. Like I actually felt really good. My music was keeping me like in a mode like that. I was ready to do this, you know?
Meanwhile, I wasn't really, but in my head, I just kept saying, stick to the master plan. That's all I kept saying. Yeah. You'll be fine. Yeah. But yeah, the first 10 kilometers was good. No problems. We are kilometer 8 or 8.5-ish, I think.
So by the halfway mark, I still felt good. My cardio, my endurance, like all that, I felt great. Mentally, I was still doing okay, but physically, I was starting to break down. Now, I know I mentioned this before in other podcasts and like when we ran the 10-kilometer trail run and different things, that my knees aren't great. When I start running for longer distances, I don't know what it is, if it's how I run or I don't really know what it is. I haven't been able to figure it out just yet. But yeah, my knees were really starting to hurt. But yeah, me and Amelia we were still like beside each other. We were still running together, but at this point I was like, no, like my knees hurt too bad. I gotta take a little break. And you just go ahead. That's what I told her. I said, you just go ahead, do your thing. Maybe I'll catch up to you later.
Yeah.
Right. So you did. You went ahead. So because you were feeling good, I'm guessing.
I was still feeling good. Like I was feeling good all the way up to the 30-ish, 35-ish mark. 35-ish mark was when, like 35 kilometers, I was starting to get a little bit tired mentally, but I kept going. I was getting kind of lonely while running, but and I started thinking, like, how far back is Curtis? And during our training, I was running with you the entire time. Like, we trained a lot together for long distances. So I was used to having you with me. So over time, you know, my music just wasn't really doing it for me. And then it was dying. So I was like, kind of giving up, really.
Yeah. Yeah. See, for me, what I started doing between the like 20 kilometers and like the 35 kilometer mark, I started running a little bit and then walking a little bit. And when I was like walking, I was stretching my legs back out because I feel like that's what I needed to do. Like when I actually like pulled my leg up like all the way to my butt, I felt like almost like a release of like pressure in my knee. And that's what kind of kept me going. So I would stretch a little bit as I was kind of walking forward. And then I felt good enough to start running again.
Yeah.
And eventually we caught up to each other.
Yes.
Well, I caught up to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you slowed down to let me or if...
Well, I had to use the bathroom a couple of times. Using those porta potties, you guys. Let me definitely as a germ freak. Ooh.
I don't know if it's worse because people are like, I gotta be quick because I gotta get back to running.
And also, you know, people, when you're running for that long, your stomach hurts a little bit, you know. Definitely if you didn't train proper, like train with you, let's say this is your first time trying a new gel and it doesn't sit right with your stomach. The porta potties, baby, let me tell you. If I didn't have to use the bathroom, I wouldn't have used the bathroom. So because I had to use it because I was on my period, so I had to change tampons. So I really had no choice but to. And that's another story for another day. I actually wrote a whole blog post about it on Substack. So if you're not following me on Substack, follow me on Substack. So anyway, sorry, jump back to.
No, I want to quickly talk about what you just mentioned because I feel bad for these people. Don't know who they are. So I can't say anything about them or what was going on. But I seen 2 people shit themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like, people had caca on their butts.
Caca, just people had to. People went on themselves. They defecated on themselves.
Yes,
I think that's the nice way to say it. But
like I feel so bad, and I don't know if they knew or like what happened, but they were still running.
Thing is, like along the route, like you would think that they had more than just 1 or 2 porta potties.
Yeah,
like
they had. Enough. They didn't have.
Yeah, they didn't have that many, and I think they should have had more. Like maybe every 5 kilometers have, or because it felt like it was every 10 or every 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that's not enough, because there was times where I even had to wait maybe a good 10 minutes before I even got into one of the porta potties.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too. They only had like 2 of them.
Around the 35-ish mark is when I saw Curtis. I actually ended up waiting a good like 10-15 minutes to use the porta potty. So I used it and then I came out and I kept running and I was like, oh man, where's Curtis?
There was a loop where like you had to run this way a little bit and then loop around and run back on the other side of the road the other way.
Yeah, so we ended up seeing each other, and that's when I started slowing down and I started waiting for you. When you saw me though, did you like pick up speed?
It gave me a boost of energy. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I wasn't like super lonely necessarily, but it was like, it was quiet.
Yeah.
My music was starting to get a little bit old, like, because I've been listening to music for now like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like kind of like getting over it a little bit. And yeah, it gave me a little boost of energy when I seen you, for sure.
Yeah. So once we caught up with each other, we were running, and then my headphones died in my right ear, and then I had no more music, and that happened around the 38-kilometer mark. That was like the worst time, and I was just like, "Come on!" And then as soon as my music died, it was like all the noise I was able to block out, like, you can't do this, all the doubt that I had, it just started flooding into my head. Like once my music died, that was it. Like I heard all the noises around me. I couldn't block anything out anymore. Like it was just so loud in my head. And I was like, Kimberly, we have to finish it. We have to finish. We're almost there. And it felt so long because now you're running for like almost 5 hours. Well, you're running around
At
4
that
hours
time,
and
we were
30
like,
mark.
yeah, 4.5 hours at that point.
Yeah, of running. And I was just like, Amelia, just walk. You just finish.
Yeah.
You like you can finish it, but it's okay if you don't finish. And then Curtis is like, trying to keep me going, and I was like, Curtis, I can't do it. So now I started walking, and Curtis started walking. He was doing his stretches at the same time as walking, and I was like, Curtis, just leave me.
Yeah.
And then
and
he's
I didn't want to. I
Yeah.
really wanted to stay back.
But then you
with
turned
you.
around and you saw the pace bunny.
Yeah.
And behind us was the 5-hour pace bunny.
That was my goal right from the start. I said that before we even started.
Yeah.
I seen the little pace bunny. So the pace bunny, if you don't know what it is, it's just a person who runs, and their job, like they're actually working. They're not just running the marathon. Their job is to keep a steady pace.
Yeah.
So there's like a 2-hour bunny, 2.5-hour bunny, 3-hour, 4-hour, whatever.
Yeah. And then there was a 5-hour, then
Yes.
5:30 mark.
Yeah, so my goal right from the start was to at least beat the 5-hour guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he started catching up to us because we were walking, kind of jogging a little bit, walking, jogging, walking, jogging.
We're going at a slower pace now.
And I look back and I see him. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you're like, Amelia, come on, we gotta
Come
do
on,
it.
we gotta go. We
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
go.
like, he's like, Amelia, we have to finish it before the 5-hour mark. He's right behind us. And I'm like, I can't, Curtis, I can't. You're like, yes, you can. I'm like, just leave me. And honestly, that was some Lion King shit. I was like, just leave me. Just do it. Was it Lion King or Titanic? It's the Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, just leave me. You're like, no, I'm not leaving you. I'm like, Curtis, just leave me. This is your goal. You have to finish it before 5 hours. Do it for both of us.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to leave you. I'm like, just leave me.
Yeah. So she basically forced me to go. So I did. I left.
Yeah. But yeah, like once I hit that 38 mark, when Curtis left me, so that was probably around the 39, I started, walking a little bit more. I was actually texting my boss, and I was saying like, cause he's like, how you doing? And I was like, I'm giving up mentally. Cause I wasn't sore. Like I wasn't sore. I wasn't hurting anywhere. It was all in my head. And I couldn't block it out.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, man.
Complete opposite. I felt great. It was just my body was giving up on me.
Well, I just said a quick prayer because I felt like, okay, my headphones died around this mark. What are the odds that they died literally right before I finished the race? Yeah. So I felt like that was a sign from God. Like he wanted me to talk to him. He wanted me to say a prayer. And he knew because like my boss messaged me and he was like, how you doing? I don't know if he saw me on the app where there was an app where you can track your runner, like whoever's running the race, you can see how far they are along the line. And you can probably see that I stopped. Yeah. Along the race, and I was just walking very slow, so it probably looked like my little icon there wasn't moving. So he messaged me, he's like, how you doing? And I was like, I'm giving up. He's like, you're almost done. And I was like, hey, you're right, you're almost done. I said, God, I just need the strength. So I started picking it up. I started increasing my speed because I knew at this rate, I probably had like 2 kilometers. I had 2 kilometers left. I was like, Amelia, you can run for 2 kilometers. You can run
that's like
for
10 minutes of running. Like you can do this.
Yeah. So I just started running as fast as I could. But yeah, I finished the race and it was very mentally challenging. Um, but it was worth the 5 hours of running.
Yeah. It was I don't know exactly how to say it, but it was like an accomplishment that almost seemed
Attainable?
unattainable. Yeah, I think that's the proper word. Because like going into it, we had not run this distance.
Yeah.
Like I never even ran past like 25 kilometers at this point.
Yeah, me neither have I.
So that's like almost half of what we ended up having to do. So it was like mentally, like, how are we actually going to do this?
Yeah.
Are we going to make it through? Mentally, it's just, it shows you what you can do if you
What
just,
you're capable of.
yeah, like what you're actually capable of if you put your mind to it and you just keep pushing through. So,
Even during our training, like me and Curtis, we did a lot of the Saturday long runs together, and maybe that's why I felt so much better running next to you. Like I felt like I had all the energy in the world, but most of the time, like I ran the Monday and Wednesday because those are the days I started late. So I ran only 5 kilometers. Like I didn't really run past 5 during the weekdays because I had to go to work. So I would run that by myself. How did you train for the?
so yeah, like Amelia just said, we did our long runs on Saturdays because we were off. We didn't work, right? So we would run like 15, 20 kilometers on a Saturday, and we do that together. Now, during the week is when we kind of did things differently. And to be honest, I didn't run as much as I had planned to. Some weeks I did run my 3 days sometimes during the week, but there was some weeks where I only ran like once throughout the week and then did my long run. And I gave myself stupid excuses like, oh, it's raining, oh, I'm tired, oh, I didn't wake up, I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I was consistent with was my stretching and like mobility exercises, because that was one thing that I knew I needed to do. Like that, the other part, actually pushing through the running, that was, I knew my endurance was good enough for that. So the running wasn't in my mind as important. I needed the stretching and the mobility exercises because I knew how my legs were.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't do that, I would have broken down and I would not have been able to get through the race. I would have been in so much pain. And like I still was, but I feel like it would have been a lot worse had I not done these exercises. So that is what I did.
Yeah.
Like I was consistent with mobility and stretching and a little bit of like strength workout for my legs too.
For me, I was consistent. I think I was pretty consistent with my running. I made a goal that I was just going to move my body. So whether I went for a bike ride, I did my Peloton, I did a workout with the Peloton type of thing. That was my goal. And honestly, I didn't really know how to run a marathon. I was just going to do it the same way I ran my half marathon, where I was just going to keep running. And that's how I was planning on training. And I wasn't until my boss, because I told you guys before that he runs marathons. He told me, he's like, how are you going to run the marathon? And I was like,
I never thought of it.
I'm like, what do you mean how am I going to run? I'm going to just run. And he was like, no, like, what's your plan? And then I was like, my plan? I'm like, I have to have a plan to run
Put
this?
one foot in front of the other and just go. What do you mean?
And he's like, well, no, because, you're going to get really tired. Like, this is not just half. Like, you're running the half plus another half. Like, this is going to be very long, Amelia. And I was like, well, how did you run the marathon? And then he was telling me about this method called the 10-minute run, 1-minute walk. And at first, I was like, run for 10 minutes only? Like, I can do that. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll still have lots of energy if I just run for 10 minutes. I'm like, okay. So during my training, like this is 2 weeks before the marathon now, I was like, I'm going to run for 10 kilometers and then walk maybe 0.5 a kilometer and then run 10 and then keep doing it that way. Well, I'll tell you what, that way did not work for me. I was very tired. I didn't want to keep running after I just ran for 10 kilometers. I found it was hard to pick up running again once I
Yeah.
stopped, you know? So that's what I was afraid of. And then I told him, like, well, I did the 10 kilometers and I walked 0.5. And he looked at me like literally I was crazy. He was like, no, try running for just 10 minutes and then walk 1.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So whatever. My last long run on Saturday, we didn't run it together. I ran it by myself and I did it. And I ran, I think it was 23 kilometers. And I'm telling you, I wasn't sore. I wasn't tired. I felt like I still had all the energy in the world. So I knew for that full marathon, I knew I was going to be fine up to like 23, 25 mark. Like I
Yeah.
knew I was going to be good. Like mentally, I was strong. Physically, I felt strong. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be good for halfway. I know that. So I actually really like that method. I would recommend it. So the day of the marathon, that is what I had in my head. I was like, I'm going to stick to this master plan, even though I'm nervous as shit. I'm going to stick to this master plan, and this is what we're doing. We're going to run for 10 minutes and walk for 1.
Yeah.
And my only, like, that is something I recommend if you want to do like your very first marathon. The only thing I really want to like stress is that when you're running for 10 minutes, you're going to have all the energy in the world. Like you're going to want to keep running. And as soon as you like, I use the running keeper, and on the running keeper, there was a section where you can.
Run Keeper.
Oh, what's it called, the Run Keeper?
Run Keeper by
sorry.
Asics.
Yeah, that's what I used. And there's a section on it where you can make intervals. So I put in 10 minutes fast, 1 minute steady. So the steady part was my walking. And the first 10 minutes in, you want to keep running, but like once you hit that 1 minute walk, like you have to almost force yourself to walk. Like, hey, stick to your master plan, walk. And then, let me tell you, 10 minutes into that race, when I in my headphones said walk and I started walking,
Already?
everybody was staring at me. Like even the spectators were like, how's she walking? The race just
She's
started.
tired already? Does she know how much longer she has to run for?
Yeah, and there was there was a guy and 2 girls that were in front of me running. And the guy looked back at me, and I swear to you, he like kind of smirked, like she's not gonna make this race. And I was like, I'm just gonna stick to my plan. Don't let people force you into running. You don't have to prove nothing to anybody. Like that's what I had to keep going.
Mental game.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah,
because guaranteed, like what was going through your head, you're like, I mean, I don't know what was actually going through your head, but it's like seeing those people look at you almost. For me, it would make me be like, yeah, I'm just going to scrap this and I'm just going to start running.
Yeah.
You know, that's what would have went through my head for sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's stick to the plan. Stick to your master plan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. And I wasn't sore. I finished the race very strong. Very strong physically. But like I said, mentally was hard.
But regardless, we ended up both finishing it, reached that milestone.
But yeah, if you have any questions about how the training went, if you're curious about the 10-minute run, 1 minute walk, just you can always comment in the comment section below. We'll love to talk to you guys more about the race if that's what you guys want to know more about. But after the race, we went to Nordik Spa. We just relaxed, and then we took a break from running. Mm-hmm. It was like almost a whole month-ish. It was about 3 weeks.
Give or take.
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks. We didn't really run. We didn't run at all.
I mean, for me, I needed minimum, I think it was a week and a half for just my knees to start feeling back to normal again.
Yeah.
So that's why I took a break. But then because of that break, the break kind of went a little bit further. You know, it's always hard to get back into it.
Yeah.
You need to just keep up with it or else you fall off, right?
Mm-hmm. And I was off this week. So, I was off from work for this week. So, I started back running. I did 4 kilometers. I think it was Monday. And then the Wednesday, I did 5 kilometers. And then we had our mud run. So, we wanted to do like a fun, not so serious run. So, we signed up for Mud Hero, which is here in Canada. It's in Ontario. And you didn't really need training. It was like 6 kilometers and it had about 17 obstacles during that run.
Yep.
And this was actually Curtis's idea, not mine this time.
Yeah.
So I didn't force him into
this
it.
wasn't like anything that was supposed to be like super challenging. It wasn't supposed to be like,
Some of those obstacles were challenging, though.
well, yeah, they were. But it was just meant to be like a fun, adventurous type thing, which it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was actually a lot of fun. Are you excited?
I am. I'm excited. First mud run that we're doing. The fit. This top is from Old Navy. Shorts is from Old Navy. These shoes are Saucony. They're not waterproof. How I think about it, I should have gotten waterproof shorts. Waterproof shoes. And my pants doesn't have string on it. And someone told me that they lost their shorts, their pants in the mud. And now that I think about it, I should have worn shorts that have a string to it. So for those pants.
So like if you ever watched like
Ninja Warrior?
yeah, Ninja Warrior the show,
Mm-hmm.
they have like some similar, not exactly like that, but
Not
they have
intense.
similar type of obstacles you need to climb through, like monkey bars and yeah, anyway. They had a bunch of different things like that. You had to climb over these like you had to run up a wall basically to get over
Yeah.
to the other side. So there was a bunch of different things like that. But the main thing and why it's called Mud Hero, they had mud pits. And let me tell you, when they were pits,
They were deep.
they were deep, like
Yeah.
past your waist, like chest level, deep mud pits.
I didn't think they were that deep. Like when you're watching the video, you know how they're advertising it. You're like, oh, that looks deep. But then in person, you're looking at it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look that deep. So when we came to our first one, there was like 3 guys ahead of us, and they were already in the pit. And I'm like, oh, hold on, Curtis. So, let me see how tall these guys are. Because if they're tall, that means the deep. That means this pit is gonna be deep on me.
Yeah.
So Curtis already ran through it, and it went up to like his chest area, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks pretty deep." I said, "You know, Curtis," and as I said, "You know, Curtis," I put my one foot, inside of the mud, and there was like a slight hill that was there,
Yeah.
and I tripped.
Face first into the mud.
My mouth was open, y'all.
Oh boy.
My mouth was open. This is literally it was probably like, was it 2 kilometers in?
Not even. We were
Yeah.
like 1 kilometer in at this point.
That was at the start of the race. Mud
Yeah.
already in my hair, mud already in my mouth, mud all over my face, my eyes, my ears. You
Yeah.
guys. And I'm like, Curtis, the mud's in my mouth.
Bruh. Yup. But yeah, no, like the pits where they had the mud, like it wasn't like thick, like super thick mud, right? The bottom where your feet was,
Yeah.
but it was like wet, like it was like muddy water with like a bunch of like thick mud down at the bottom. So it was like almost like water pits that were just like really muddy. But it was so inconsistent. Like they didn't dig like a perfect like square where
Yeah.
like you just drop down and it's flat at the bottom. No. Like you walk in and
You get to go 2 feet.
yeah,
2
like
feet
you
first?
you go in first and it's like, you know, like knee like up to your knees. But then all of a sudden you take your next step and it just drops
Yep.
like 4 feet.
And that's what happened to me. And that's why I fell face planted.
Yeah. But then the next pit, it's like it drops 4 feet instantly.
Yeah.
So like it was super inconsistent. And I think they did it like that on purpose.
Yeah, because
So
they want you to trip,
Yeah.
get muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was the monkey bars. That's the only obstacle I didn't do was the monkey bars. Curtis, you did pretty good. You did all the obstacles.
I did.
Man, that was a lot of fun. It
was.
was. And we're running through the bushes, some trees, and
It was at a paintball park.
yeah.
So like they had a lot of different like obstacles. They had like shipping containers that had like cutouts and
Empty grenades.
you had to run in through them. Like vehicles that were like placed in different areas. But yeah, we ran through like an entire paintball park.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
It was. It was definitely fun. So if you haven't done anything like that before, try that out. It's definitely worth it. The only thing is I found they could have made it a little bit more muddier.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some obstacles, like I thought going in that, okay, I knew I wasn't gonna do the monkey bars. I already knew that in my head I wasn't gonna make it. So I said, okay, you know what? This is probably gonna be the only part where I'm willing to just drop myself in the mud.
Yeah.
Because I knew I wasn't going to do it. And I feel like that would have been cool. Like if you didn't want to do the obstacle course, or if you knew you couldn't make it, you should have been able to have been dropped into mud.
Yeah.
And then you would have to run through the mud like that.
And that's actually what I thought it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've watched that show I was mentioning, The Ninja Warrior, when they're doing an obstacle and they're hanging and whatever,
Yeah.
beneath them is water. They fall into the water. And I thought that's what they were going to have. Like, they were going to have different types of obstacles that beneath that, if you didn't hold on and you didn't make it through that obstacle, you were dropping into a pile of mud.
Do you remember that show Wipeout?
Wipeout?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I would go on that show.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity, I would definitely go on that show.
Yeah. And like that's kind of like what it was. And that's what I was hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you fell, you were falling into a pit of mud. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they should have did it more that way. And every location apparently is slightly different.
Yeah.
So maybe other ones do have it set up like that. This one they were renting an area from the paintball park, like I mentioned, so maybe they weren't able to. I don't know, not sure, but it was still a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
definitely worth it. We
Definitely
had a
worth
blast.
the money. I want you to do it again, but we didn't sign up for the all day pass. We just did it once. But they had like maybe 2 food trucks there after. Then you also had bag check. Bag check was $5. Parking was what, $15?
$15.
Yeah. But it was totally worth it. Was it worth getting mud in my mouth? No, but the overall experience was definitely fun.
Right, so
It was good. I didn't lose my shoes or I didn't lose my pants. Oh, hold on. Before we go, I do want to go back to the lawnmower thing. I have a question. So because we share a lawn with our neighbor, now me and Curtis just bought a new lawnmower. And, you know, we've always just been, for the last 3 years of living here, we've just been mowing our own lawn. The other guy's been, does he mow his own lawn? I don't even know if he has a lawnmower. Anyways, so let's just say he has a lawnmower because I'm assuming he does. Would you guys cut the neighbor's lawn?
yeah, if you share a lawn with them,
Yeah.
like yeah, okay, if you have your own separate lawn is divided by driveways, you do your own, you call it a day. But because we live in like row units and we're kind of in the middle of 2 different row units, we share the lawn. Like we have half and then theirs has half, but
Yeah.
they're both connected. So would you, when cutting your lawn, would you go over to their side and cut theirs for them while doing yours? Or would you leave it?
The thing is, for me, I feel like the Christian thing in me is saying, just cut their lawn.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going across the street to cut someone else's lawn. You're literally just doing one straight pass.
No. Like I like helping people. I do. I don't want you to be like, to start assuming that I don't need to do anything anymore because my neighbor is just going to do it.
Yeah.
Like that is just not okay. Want to get your guys' opinion? Would you cut your neighbor's lawn?
If you're in our situation.
Yeah. Or like do it just maybe once in a while, just out of the kindness of your heart, but don't do it sometimes to let them know that you need to start, like you need to actually take care of your stuff too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it every single time. So, yeah. What's your opinion on that?
So the conversation doesn't end here with just me and Curtis. It also involves you. So comment in the comment section below what you think we should do. And what would you do if you're in our situation?
And any of the topics we discussed, marathons, mud runs, shoot, I don't even remember what else we talked
The
about.
STEAM kids, discovery scientists,
But
experiments.
yeah, if you have anything to mention about any of those topics,
Yeah.
let us know.
Let us know how you're doing in general. Tell us something good with you. All right, the camera's about to die, and happy
Yeah.
Sunday, folks.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Comment in the comment section, and
subscribe.
if you're new to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, happy Sunday, folks.
Peace.
Peace.